PSA. Motherfucking PSA. Public service announcement to you niggas, please.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Naughty Corner.
Welcome.
Calling all my rebels to the hottest spot on YouTube. The rest of the world will catch up soon. Exactly. You're joined today by Candy
And Shadi.
and as you can see, today's topic is about sex positivity versus the pressure to be wild. So we're gonna get into it, just give our own opinions around this new age and era we're in with social media, influencers, trends,
The things.
the shits, the shit we're in. Okay, so I feel like, first of all, what is the difference between sex positivity and feeling pressured to be sex positive? Okay,
That's a good one.
a good start off.
Let's start on the basis.
Some definition.
Lay some foundations.
Definitely. So I feel like sex positivity looks different for everyone. It's really all about knowing what you want
Yes.
and what you need. And that time, no matter your age, no matter where you are in life, it's about having personal choice. And the choice being yours
So important.
and yours only. And obviously, I feel like with social media and certain places in the internet, we are really pressured on what that looks like or what that should look like. Especially as like a woman, I can attest to that. That there are standards of what, this is what you're supposed to be like in terms of what you like, what you want to do,
What? Yeah.
basically everything.
Yes.
Everything about it. So I feel like in terms of reclaiming your own sex positivity or a little message you have for people and doing that, what would that be for you?
Yeah, I think what you said, just being yourself and choosing your boundaries and knowing what you want is a good foundation point to have when you are sexually active.
Yeah.
And aren't, because that comes into sex positivity.
Exactly. And I feel also with social media these days, I mean, even scrolling through reels, my sister last time was saying that she's seeing a lot of hip movement reels showing up on her explore page. That is kind of really pushing a
certain narrative.
sex, which is like clearly that is also what people are into and not into. And I feel like social media does play a huge part in that, honestly.
It does. I mean, everything we consume is fed to us and taught to us. So
exactly. And
plays
also
a major role.
in terms of like certain influencers or certain people's niches and brands could also be pushing that,
Yeah, because some people are specifically in those niches.
And I think it also has like a way of not being honest, if I can say, or like realistic. Because social media is like basically a facade, so it's easy for you to be like, this is what, this is what you're supposed to be doing, this is what you should be doing. Whereas like even you as a person putting out that content, you're not even doing that, which is very like not stupid, negligent, I'll say.
Do you have like someone, we're not naming names,
Yeah.
but is there a certain account that does that, and like what type of content do they push that maybe comes from a false narrative of pushing sex positivity?
I mean, not specifically a certain account, but even like certain clips from like shows. I mean, we were watching last time The Real Housewives of Miami, and Larsa was like, she has sex with like her partner 6 times a day. That for someone else it would be very much realistic, I'm guessing. But for like other people, it's like, okay, her saying that, she's already like kind of putting an image into men's heads that, okay, this is what you're supposed to be like expecting, get what I mean?
From her.
Yes. Or someone like very much saying, the new boo every weekend, which is like, where? In this,
where are you
finding the people to even begin with?
Yeah.
I mean, it's even hard these days starting a conversation with someone, let alone getting intimate with them or passing whatever bases and levels with them. So I feel like
it's true.
In terms of like social media, girls are pushing that whole, a free life, which is good, but I also do like the ones who are pushing more a self-love thing in terms of getting to know your own body personally with whatever toys, yourself, whatever thing makes you feel good. Basically.
And I think with what you're saying, because obviously there are people that are doing that for like other reasons, and there are people who are maybe pushing this type of content in a way to reclaim their power. I feel like as women we've been definitely branded as, you're not allowed to be sexually vibrant, sexually confident. So I think some women do push it out there so that they can reclaim that power and take it back to themselves. So even with what you said with Larsa, that's her own business. But it's like some people do it to reclaim their power, and I think most of us are fed the delusional men are the only ones who can do whatever they want with their sexuality. But as women, we have to find ways to also reclaim that image for ourselves without feeling like we're doing too much or pushing too much forward. And I think to each their own, because if you love that content, follow that content. So I'm really for it in that sense that women are trying to reclaim their power in the sex positive space, because it was never given to us as women.
That's true.
And the only way we can push that forward is
speaking
by being
about it
seen.
more. Definitely. I mean, even as you're saying, in terms of that content also, I do love whenever girls do feel comfortable talking about, self-pleasuring, or the fact that they do have, a roster of guys that like, I can call this one on Monday, I can call this one on Tuesday. But then the extreme side of it would be like that girl who had a whole sleeping with 100 men in one day, which is like, it's setting a very dangerous situation of also what I feel like young girls could feel like, okay, this is what actually could get me famous. This is what actually would make me feel better about myself, give me the attention that I want, that I'm not really getting. So I feel like understanding the balance of
definitely,
this is too much,
and this is like
too conservative. You get what I mean? Sometimes as you said, women aren't always speaking about these things. It's very shameful for us. I mean, it even took a while for me to realize that, back in high school, boys are so comfortable talking about, I jerked off last night, blah, 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 blah. Whereas girls, it's like a no-no. No-no conversation.
You're not supposed to know that you can do that for yourself.
Exactly. And I feel like also, as you get older, that's also what I realized. Conversations about sex happen a lot more. I was like, wow, this is what adulting is like, I guess.
Because it's the one thing people are doing.
Yes,
so
and the one thing that I feel like sometimes those conversations within our peers and our friend groups also might easily mislead people into feeling pressure of, okay, I'm supposed to be where my friend's at right now. Or I'm not really, freaky enough. Or I'm not really stacking up my racks, basically, in terms of
so real.
Being free, I guess. And one thing I always hate is the body count conversation. Oh my god,
so unnecessary.
Oh my
god,
god,
to know your personal life like that. As long as you're present with whoever you are and you're intentional, that's all that should matter.
That's true. And I feel like, say whatever you want. Scare someone and be like 100, even if it's 0. Scare someone and be like 20, even if it is 100. Because I feel like that is something very personal, and people put so much of an idea of you based on your number, which is crazy. Because it's like, whatever I've done, whatever I'm doing is not really, it's just such a tiny part of who we are as people.
And if anything, you can even set your boundaries to the point of not wanting to disclose that, because you're not defined by who you've been with.
Exactly.
You're defined by who you are now in the present. So you can't be like, I don't want to tell you my body count because that's my own personal business.
And I feel like also personally, in terms of hookup culture and dating, in the era we are in right now, it's very hard to just off the bat, especially if that's what you are looking for, forming a connection with someone, as a lot of people are immediately wanting to get physical. That is something that's really trending right now. That's like,
people think it's,
what's my name? What's my favorite color? You know what I mean? Before you get my underwear off.
And if anything, like with those things, most likely times, they don't care about you. They're not trying to know you.
That's true.
Someone who actually wants to get to know you won't want to be in that vulnerable space with you yet without even disclosing who you are as a person. So if a person is trying to sleep with you, just know that they saw the physical first, and they might not be there for the emotional, honey. And don't be shocked, but it happens.
It does happen.
I honestly wouldn't want to like sleep with someone that I don't know of in any regard. As you said, what's my name? At least get my name.
At least get my name. And I like that you like pinpointed that it's really all about what the intention. I feel like is all that matters.
Definitely.
It's why I feel like it's so important for us in this dating era we're in and in hookup culture to say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. If you are looking for a good time, let someone know. Based off like, if you're not looking for that, I'm looking for this, you can go our separate ways. Whereas if that's what you're looking for, shop. That way there is no confusion or now someone's heart getting broken, or
Yes.
feeling like they were mistreated or misled by someone.
Definitely.
And then you feel like crappy after. So please, guys, do stand your ground.
Yeah.
Especially also girls. I feel like girls normally are so easily we're conditioned to keep quiet and not really voice our opinions in terms of, hey, slow down, or hey, this is what I want, or hey, I want to hook up, or hey, I do not want to hook up. I have a 3-month rule, I have a 6-month rule, whatever the thing is.
Yes.
Be able to voice that, and if the person cannot even handle it, they're not for you.
Yeah.
It is as simple as that. I feel like
Black and white.
it is.
Day and night. Yeah.
It definitely is. And then in terms of double standards, from what you've realized in terms of men and women regarding sex and hookup culture, what have you noticed, or what has been like on your mind or bothering you about it?
Maybe give me an example, because
Okay.
yeah, I'm not sure.
In terms of like
How
that,
to like thingy it.
I mean, already we did touch on it.
Mhm.
The comfortability of men feeling very comfortable to
Yes.
speak about it, whereas women don't.
Mm.
Or maybe
And that's a major one.
yes.
I think that
a
is a
very,
major
very
one.
big one. Or maybe the body count one.
Mm.
Men are praised
Mm.
for having body count and women aren't.
Yeah, I think it ties into literally whatever all we said, that women do need to just reclaim their power, because there's a double standard in that, and men not also like having to do the same thing that we're doing. So I think the double standard is us having to show up and showing that we are sexually positive, unlike men not having to do that. It's like coming out. They don't need to come out and say that, and women do, and I feel like that is a double standard.
It is very much so.
For you?
I mean, for me, also personally, it's just in noticing how men are celebrated for having higher body counts, whereas women are easily labeled whores, sluts. I mean, even with not even having a body count, a girl can be called a whore or slut just because you like someone. You know what I mean? And it's so crazy that these ideas, yet again, push the shame on top of us, push
Definitely.
the secretness and the feeling like we have to, not really be comfortable in our bodies. I personally also did experience that, if I could like say so myself.
Yeah.
Not realizing that, wait a damn minute, I actually do not know myself.
Yeah, that's so real.
Even in terms of like mentally, what do I want? What do I like? Something as simple as kissing, you get what I mean? As girls, you're just there letting this person do whatever they want, whereas you're like, I'm not really enjoying this. Whereas now I've come to a point of being like, you know what, do this instead, or stop, because it's not working.
Choosing your boundaries.
Yeah, and that is also in terms of the breaking down those double standards, because also sometimes as women speaking up, you are apparently hurting egos, where it's like, don't hurt that ego for your comfortability.
Yeah.
Do not put another
Yeah,
person's
choose
feelings
yourself,
before yours,
especially when it comes to
essentially.
intimacy.
Yes.
Definitely. And I think another one you could point to is also the pressure that men have to not be virgins. I think that's a very
Yes, I like
double
that one.
standard when it comes to genders, because
That's true.
it's oftentimes where men do feel pressured to now engage in sexual things because of the pressure that they see from their friends and their peers.
You're not man enough.
You're not man enough, and that leads to very suppressed emotions,
It does.
wrongdoings, rape, all of that stuff, because you see a boy who's frustrated and not understanding why they have to have sex, but they know that they have to do it because it's the male way. And even if it doesn't also come just from the social pressure of men, it comes from the social pressure of women.
Yes.
A lot of women tend to say that I can't be with someone who's a virgin. And that's kind of the same double standard with men wanting virgins.
Yes.
So it's very nuanced, but clearly we both set very impossible standards for each other. Because here I am wanting a virgin, but as a man, and here I am as a woman not wanting a virgin.
There's rules.
It's very nuanced.
It is.
Yeah, just touching up on that of how boys have to not be virgins is something that we need to talk about. We need to have more grace and ease towards the men.
Yes.
That really want genuine connections, because oftentimes a lot of them are forced. I mean, the fact that we hear that some boys lose their virginities at such a young age.
Yeah, like 12 years old, 14, with older girls and older women at that point. It is scary. And I feel like also with around that, it's created them for also to like be shameful of that. Because oh, you're so lucky, man. Oh, but you did it. Get it over and done with. You know what I mean? And it's like, no. do also speak up about it, because there are a lot of young boys who have been like in situations where they didn't want to be, as you said, and it's like, don't feel shame around that. If you were uncomfortable in that situation, speak up, name that person, because they did make you feel uncomfortable. They took advantage of you, essentially.
Definitely,
they really did.
And you did touch on the double standard of like self-pleasure. I think it's so sad that women feel as though they can't explore their bodies. That is one thing that I've tried to also really claim back for myself as a woman, being in my 20s and being in a place where I am going to be more sexually active, or you know, wanting to explore connections. I feel like it's so sad that as a girl you never think of masturbating.
I mean, like, I've heard stories of guys masturbating at school. Do you understand
boys
how
do it every
comfortable
single day
and how normal that is for them? Whereas with girls, you literally have to start from, you learning how to ride a bicycle, essentially.
There are literally articles that state that men are healthier when they have these sessions with themselves. Where are the articles for women? They're only coming out now when women are choosing to be sexually positive and sexually confident. And it's so sad, because it's like, first of all, how am I going to give myself to someone when I haven't even looked at my body?
Exactly.
When I haven't even put the mirror in front of my hoo-ha and looked at her and saw her for what she is.
That is important, guys.
It's
what
so
you say,
important.
you have to be able to literally like know what's going on in your body.
Yes.
Take a mirror and stare at yourself. Because I mean, if you can't look at it, who else is gonna look at it? You get what I mean? This goes for women, men, everyone. Get to love your body and get to appreciate what you have, essentially. And I feel like also touching again on the double standard, I like how you did bring up the standards on men also. I also don't like how there's a standard of a double standard of, if a man isn't initially or after that as sexual, he's probably gay. That is,
we need to be careful with that.
Those are words that are very loosely used, and it's very dangerous in terms of like, he wasn't really aggressive enough, so he's probably gay, or he didn't really kiss me that night, so he's probably gay.
Those
you
things
know what I mean?
really do like scare me at times, because it's like I don't think women also understand the context they say it in. Like, I don't know, it's so nuanced. There's so many layers to these things, because in you now wanting aggression is it's an uncontrollable thing. Like, let's imagine a box and there's different emotions in boxes. The aggressive box is going to blow up. That's how unpredictable that emotion is. So to, I guess, as you said, make someone aware that you're not strong enough, because aggression is strength. But I don't know. But
I never used to like that thing. Whereas if a guy, that also is a double standard we set for men, that they are supposed to always want sex. They are supposed to always be ready, no matter what, which is unrealistic. And also, it shouldn't be now a thing of, you're gay because you don't want to do this. Whereas think of like, maybe this person wants to get to know you, or they're taking things just like very slow, and that's good for them. The pace is set,
and they're choosing their boundaries.
That's them setting their boundary. Us also expecting men to always be ready is like,
it's a lot. And I think even with what you're saying, it can tie to both genders. We shouldn't feel like we have to be with like 50 people before we die. Like, in as much as you also want to do that, it comes with a lot of emotional maturity. I know that sex is a communication. I know it's a 2-minute, I get out of it or whatever, I move on. But in your own heart and mind and soul and body, you have to understand why you're doing the things you're doing. As Candy had mentioned, that it's not due to social pressure, it's not due to people's pressure, or I guess a certain standard that you set in your head that you're supposed to reach. Oftentimes your body will tell you when it is not okay. So
the body knows. The body always knows.
There's no need to get all the eggs in the box. Like, really understand who you are as well, because you need to be very mature to want to have multiple sexual partners.
That's true.
And to want to be busy with a lot of people.
It does. It needs a lot of maturity. And like you said, a lot of communication and openness to ensure safety, to ensure that everyone feels comfortable, to ensure consent and honesty, as you're saying. I feel like, and that's the thing, that I feel like if you are in a space where you want to be in the hookup culture, where you do want multiple partners with different experiences, understand the gravity of what you can do to someone's life.
Exactly.
So take the responsibility of being mature, of being honest, of being able to communicate with them that this and this is what I want, this is what I do not want. That way, no lines are crossed, no boundaries are stepped over. Essentially.
Basically, leave people better than you found them.
Yeah.
Even in sexual relationships.
No matter what, like we're human,
and like shame them and be like, oh, you actually sucked, or you actually, because now you're setting that person up for failing when they meet their next partner, because you're just moving on, you're skedaddling to the next one, but treat people with dignity, respect, and grace,
definitely grace.
It's very important.
And like you did say that sex positivity also isn't a thing about every weekend in and out. Also deciding to be celibate and saying no in situations, that is sex positivity, because in that moment you are making a choice for yourself in a sexual situation.
And before Candy also continues, a disclaimer: this is to everybody, every single gender, every single person. If you are a human being and you're watching this is for you too. It's not just for women, men, it's everybody.
Yes,
we are really trying to also reiterate the fact that you have to be very sexually positive in your own self as a person, as a man, as a woman. You have to know what you're doing to your body, because essentially you're doing it to your body, guys. Sex is fun, but you're doing it to your body. So
so us also saying things in a woman perspective is the only perspective we can give. You know what I mean? But I like what you said.
So much.
Take the advice either way.
Yes, take the advice.
No matter what you identify as, take the advice either way. But like I was saying, in terms of not feeling any pressure, a lot of girls also are on a trend, it's not a trend, but trend of deciding to be celibate. And I feel like that is a very strong choice also, and a very powerful choice, deciding that, you know what, I'm good. I want to wait for someone, or I want to wait until, whatever happens. And it's okay also to be at a point where if maybe you did live a certain life, deciding to stop, and then now again waiting for marriage. No one should shame you just because you're not technically a virgin. But in that moment in time, if you are deciding that, you know what, even though I'm not a virgin, I do want to wait whoever I'm dating next for marriage, they should respect that. And if they can't, yet again, they're not the right one.
Yes, definitely. And I think to tie what Candy's also mentioning is that people should also view sex as exploration of self, in as much as you're sharing your body with someone else. And in what she had mentioned with the whole virgin thing and whatnot, I would like for that word to low-key fall, in a sense of not feeling as though if you haven't done it, you're less than, or if you've done it, you're damaged goods. Sex is supposed to be a space where you want to be in that energy and want to be in that room to explore how you feel and how you're felt by somebody else. So even with what you said, if you're someone who hasn't had sex yet, you can easily say that I'm not ready to explore that side of me just as yet, because I know how much weight it carries, even in just how it makes me feel. And if you've done it, as she has mentioned, it's like, I've tasted it, it's been good. I'd like to explore it with more intentional connections.
That's okay. That is sex positivity.
Yeah, it really is.
And vice versa. If from now on, after having sex for the first time, you're like, you know what, I don't let my free frack fly. Let it fly. Pack up your roster if you need to. And if that makes you happy and makes you fulfilled and makes you feel empowered, it's your business.
It's your business.
No one else can tell you what to do with your own body. You know what I mean? Essentially.
That's true.
And also on the topic of sex and saying no and celibacy, I feel like one thing also that really did influence a lot of us is stuff like movies and porn, because they do really set unrealistic standards. I mean, first of all, they're all acting. You know what I mean? Let alone in movies, everything is pretty. Everything is supposed to be clean, proper. There's music playing. It is perfect. You get what I mean? It is the perfect moment. And that is not the reality of anything. I mean, even probably you thinking back to your first kiss, it's not what you saw in the movie. It was probably weird and awkward and the fuck?
Like, what is happening?
What's going on? You get what I mean? So I think also in terms of not also putting pressure on what you think the other person wants, just because of things you've seen in movies and porn.
And I think that ties into what you said about the communication.
Yes.
Because we can talk about it. We can be like, hey, I've never been kissed before, so like, can we take a slow?
Yeah, take a little slow.
Like communication.
Yeah, it's very, very important. So even in terms of that, definitely pick your comfort over performing.
Yes.
Don't do things because you think it's trendy or will make this person like you more. If you don't feel comfortable with it, express it.
Yeah.
If you don't understand it, hit the road.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yes.
And making sure that in that moment you also are comfortable and not putting up a performance or faking it, essentially.
Yes.
Which is a big thing apparently a lot of girls are going through.
Yeah.
No more faking.
Speak to your partners.
No more faking.
Let them know of ways they can help you get there. I feel like if someone is really like intentional about making you feel good, they'll make sure
Definitely
that you get a good time.
And that's all. I feel like that's all people essentially want in moments of intimacy, in any level, from making out to second base, third base, and all the way. Feeling comfortable, and that both of you are there and present and enjoying the experience, instead of it feeling like one-sided
and performative.
Yeah, definitely, because it's like it's fake.
Yeah. And just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Never that.
Yeah.
Do it because you want to do it.
Literally.
And also a big statement around any conversation around intimacy and sex is consent. Definitely. Consent is very, very important, guys. And even if you're not sure, just make sure. It will not kill the vibe. If it does, that's their problem. You get what I mean? You just making sure that whoever you're with is agreeing to whatever's happening.
Yes.
Is very safe and very present with whatever you're going to do next.
Yes.
And that there are, no boundaries crossed, like I said again.
And you also are doing that to also like protect yourself and your boundaries, as you've mentioned, because you can't be confident when you take away confidence from other people. I think not having someone's full consent or not knowing how they feel about certain things is taking away that opportunity from them and kind of taking from that moment from them.
Definitely.
So it really is important, because you also want to feel good about what you're doing with the person. You don't want to be unsure and just doing it to just, release. So please, that is important.
Yeah.
Even with yourself. Consent in knowing that, hey, I'm not up for this today. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like you touching me or whatever. Consent with yourself and with others is quite important.
Very, very important.
Extend that same thing to you.
Yes.
Always check in with yourself too if you want to do this. And you'll probably know the answer.
You will. Your body will tell you.
Your body will tell you.
And then, guys, ultimately also, please just stay safe. There's so many tools we've been given to make sure that we are safe. A bunch. There's a list. Go to a clinic if you do not know. Do any research just to make sure that you know you are safe, never engaging in anything sexual or intimate.
Yes.
And put in your boundaries. Never feel pressured to have sex without a condom.
Yes.
Never feel pressured to get off contraceptives. Make sure that go on them. That part too.
Yeah.
Whatever thing you decide on when it comes to something like that, make sure it really comes from you.
Yes.
And it is your decision.
Yeah, that's very important.
And if someone cannot respect that, they are the wrong person, no matter who they are.
Definitely.
No matter who they are.
Because even with you touching on the whole protection thing, as you mentioned, I find that most people, and I think we did watch a couple on Love is Blind where they had this discussion about the contraceptives thing. How can you mention that if they do not like that, you don't want to go on contraceptives, they're not the one. Because someone else will help you navigate that. They'll try to be as safe as they can with you, because we all know what contraceptives do to women's bodies.
Yeah.
It is not the ideal hack, but it is the hack that we're using for now. So it is important to also understand if you want to do that to your body, because at the end of the day, you're the one going through those hormonal changes.
That's true.
That person is not going through that.
A lot comes with that.
Yeah.
Depression, weight gain,
Yes.
as you said, hormonal changes. It will have you literally acting like an entirely different person.
Yeah.
So also knowing that, don't feel pressured to stay on it just to make another person comfortable.
Yes.
They can also make a compromise for you.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, because I think, I'm not gonna say I'm nice about it, but if roles were reversed, y'all know what the
Y'all know. But
Before.
technology is catching up, so
Yeah.
we'll see it
So
live.
we'll see.
Soon.
We'll see.
We'll see it live.
We'll see if it is the same. But anyway, yeah, please just understand the conscious decision you're taking to put something in your body. I'm currently on a contraceptive, and I urge you to know what you're doing and understand what it's going to do to your body. And as Kenny has mentioned, there is protection. There are people who will care about you and want to protect you as their partners, because I wouldn't want my partner to go through things that are not good for them.
Exactly.
Just for the means of us having sex. If I can strap up, I'm a strap up.
I'm a strap up, exactly.
Because I'm here to take it off, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's
literally,
like, you know.
that's already a statement on its own. That is
Hashtag
already a statement on its own.
Stay safe.
Hashtag stay safe. But yes, guys, we're closing it off. Make sure whatever decision you make regarding hookup culture, dating, and sex is really yours.
Yeah.
It looks different for everyone. Do not feel shame in being celibate. Do not feel shame in being an open person who enjoys sexual moments and sexual experiences with different people, because that's what makes you happy and fulfills you. That's okay, and no one can judge you for that.
Definitely.
We are different people, so we should give each other grace of understanding that works for you, good for you. This works for me, good for me.
Yes.
Yeah. So love yourself, essentially.
Definitely. Like, number one thing I can also just attest to is have no shame around what you do. Have absolutely no shame. Do not let anybody take away your power, take away your sexual exploration, be it you were in a bad situation, a good situation. Never let anybody take that power from you. Do not have shame around anything that you do sexually, because essentially it is what you allow in your body, and that is to say for those that are consensual. Something that's out of your control, I'm sorry if you had to go through that, but take back your power and hold no shame, because it goes with you, and sooner rather than later you are going to need to deal with those emotions, because being sexually positive is being able to be comfortable with yourself and your body, and find partners that are going to also, you know, highlight that in your life. So find partners who are good for you. Explore your body as much as you can, because it is your body.
Yeah.
You are the only one living in it.
I mean, if you can't touch it, who else can touch it?
Exactly. If you can't touch it, nobody can.
Yeah, if you can't love it, who else is gonna love it?
Exactly. So just love up on yourself and explore. Explore. You're human. You're meant to experience things.
You're gonna make mistakes.
You're gonna make mistakes.
Okay.
And it's gonna be the best journey if you really are in tune with yourself and understand what you need and want.
Definitely. Yes, guys, this is a very nice, short, quick video. Just to touch up on this topic, and just, you know, all of us, men, women, they, thems, claiming our pride and claiming our identities and whatever we identify in sexually. You get what I mean?
Claim
this is me, this is what I like, this is what I want. Respect it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So guys, see you soon on another video. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
Please tell your friend.
Yes,
to tell a friend.
Definitely.
To tell their mom. Please.
And let us know if any funny sexual experiences or first kiss horror stories or first time horror stories you have down in the comments. We'd love to hear it. And we'll see you next time on another video.
Bye.